What's going on, Sac State students and those who are watching this as well? Tiana Burst here. I'm excited about today. I'm excited to bring you the information that I feel in my gut has helped me achieve what I've achieved thus far. My name is Tiana Burst, guys, and there's no real introduction on me right now. I'm recording this because we had some technical difficulties earlier, but I'm still going to bring to you what I am excited about, which is how do you stay relevant during a virtual world right now. We're living in a world where everything is higher tech, less touch. We're all in this thing called a pandemic together. I think one of the things that I have done really well in my career is pivot. And with what we've seen in 2020, pivoting is the name of the game. And I think it's forced all of us to become intentional with what we want to accomplish in our lives, and also become intentional about how we can start to scale and build and achieve what we really want, whether that is to get the job of your dreams or to build a business or to test the waters as an entrepreneur and really see how you can win big. In 2020, we're in the if you're watching this right now, I'm recording this, we're in the last quarter of 2020, and think about how interesting 2020 has been. I think that there's more opportunity than ever before. As a matter of fact, I think we're in the era of opportunity. And I'm going to talk about that over the next 30 minutes or so to help you guys. So with that being said, guys, I'll do my own introduction. Tiana Burst here. I'm the co-founder of a company called California Bud Co. I own another company with some partners. I have my own brand. I'm partnered with Facebook as one of their official creators. I have a show on Facebook Watch called Hustle Season, and I'm best known for taking a business, building a brand behind the business, and then helping that business scale and grow even during 2020. It's interesting, I launched a company in 2020 right before the COVID shutdown, and in 6 months I've taken that company to a 7-figure worth with myself and my partner. So, you know, one of the things that people say about me is that whatever I touch turned to gold. But the reality is that I think that as you listen to my story within this 30-minute time frame, you'll get a level of understanding of what it really takes to succeed and win. Because on the outside looking in, it can appear that I can just touch something and it manifests quickly, and that comes with some trial and error. And I've done things I failed in, I've done things that I've succeeded in, but it really comes down to what am I doing every single day to achieve the goal. And so with that, guys, I'll give you some insight. I've been featured in Mogul. I've been featured on CBS, BuzzFeed, Thrive Global. I know I'm going to be featured in Entrepreneur Magazine here coming up. Next up is Forbes. And that's just to name a few, all from what I just said, just knowing how to take a brand, build a brand, take a company and scale it with the right people. But on this event, I'm going to be talking about you guys and how you can win and take yourself to the next level as a brand or as an individual, getting that dream job, even amidst us not being able to be face to face, right? So first things first, guys, I'm talking about the inspiration to achieve success. Let me share with you my actual story. I'm 38 years young right now, but at 22 years of age, I was flat broke and I filed bankruptcy. I hit what I consider to be rock bottom where I literally didn't know what I was gonna do. I'm a college dropout. The only college that accepted me was Sac State. I opted to go to a junior college, lasted 3 months, and then ended up being $50,000 in debt and filing bankruptcy, living with my parents. So that was a humbling experience, but I always knew that I was a communicator, and I would later find out through my friend Les Brown that communicators change the world. You know, at one time, you know, I had absolutely nothing, and now it seems like I have it all. You know, at times I can go do what I want. I went to Monterey and I stayed there for a week and I went whale watching when I was supposed to stay there for a day. That to me is freedom a little bit. But the point of it is that we all have our ebbs and flows of life. And so as you listen to me over the next 30 minutes, just make sure that you understand that I'm not bragging. I'm actually just gonna give it to you straight and let you know exactly where I came from and everything in between. So and one day I remember at 22, 23 years of age, I remember just wanting so badly to have a mentor show me what I should be doing right. Because I knew that I had some type of talent and gift in me. I knew it. I knew I was talented. I knew I had charisma. I knew I was sharp. I knew I was smart. How do you take those elements as a human being and build businesses around it, or build a life around it? I mean, hell, if it wasn't going to be me building businesses, how can I get the dream job or whatever it may be? And I remember just one day meeting someone who would then be my mentor. And I asked for it though. So lesson number one, I believe, when you want to stand out in a pandemic and in a world where we're all doing this right now, first things first, know exactly what you want. Because too often we say we want something, and then when that thing gets in front of us, we don't recognize it. So for me, I had to recognize that I was asking for a mentor. I attracted someone who would then be my mentor, and it was my job to do exactly what they said to do because they were at a level that I wished to be. So I took advantage of that opportunity. That person then became my mentor. Went through many ebbs and flows the first 12 months, but found a way to discover my voice. And it was my voice that would then turn my whole life around to where I'm at today, which I know is just, I haven't even scratched the surface. And so I would then go on and I would build a business that did multiple six figures at the age of 23. So I was young, I was young, but like young people do, when you haven't acquired that kind of income, you spend it, and I spent it all. And after I spent it all, I lost it all. So I had lost that business. And so I found myself at the age of 27, 28, back at my parents with a humbling experience, knowing that I had the house and I had the $100,000 car and all these things that I thought mattered, that we all think matter, especially when we live in a world on Instagram and social media. But it didn't matter at the end of the day, because when I lost everything, I had to think about how to get it back. Now, my buddy Les Brown, who got me through the darkest of times when I lost everything on YouTube, I just knew one day I'd meet him and we'd speak together, and we were at Sac State together and all that good stuff. So, the mind is a very powerful thing. And I believe that going after what you want and believing, even if you can't see it, but believing that something is greater for you out there, that's where the magic happens. So when I lost everything, I was listening to Les Brown a lot. I was just trying to figure out my next step. But I knew that what he said in one of his audios, that 8 out of 10 millionaires go broke several times. So I said, all right, if that's the case, and I had really read about 600 books over the last 15 years. But at that moment, I had read maybe 300 books. And so I remember just referencing all these books one night and just going, okay, where am I? How do I get back? How do I get back on top? And I realized that I had to make certain pivot. And the pivot for me was right when social media came out. And now I've kind of perfected that skill. Lesson number 2, when you want to go after what you want, whether that is to be an engineer and get the best job as an engineer, or be an entrepreneur, or launch a company, or get that dream job, whatever your skill set is, the important thing is to take the saw and make sure that you are sharpening your skill. Because at any moment, something can happen, and it could be long, it could be gone, right? So lesson number 2 in scaling a brand and really getting what you want in a virtual world is to sharpen your skill, not monthly, not yearly, but on a daily basis, not even weekly, on a daily basis. What does that look like for you? Only you know. Maybe dive in deeper and study what you are going to college for. Study that more. Just dive deeper into the skill level that it takes to go to the next level when we're living in a world that is this. So that's number 2, and that's what I did. It's exactly what I did. I said, all right, I'm going to sharpen my skill, and I'm going to be better. And I remember at 28 years of age, I remember thinking, all right, something's got to give, something else is out there. And I ended up getting a writing job for the newspaper, local newspaper, making $400 a month, $400 a month. And I remember doing a video, because I was going through it. I remember doing a video calling it Bar Talk and Coffee. Welcome to Bar Talk and Coffee. And I remember doing that video, and I remember a lot of people going, oh my God, T's going through it just like me. And I went viral. And from there, I was able to get by, right? I was able to get by making $400 a month, just getting by. Now I'm used to making multiple six figures. Now I'm making $400 a month. I'm thinking, dang, I was up here, now I'm down here. Lesson number 3. just know that all positions in life are temporary. That is hope for the poor and words of wisdom to the wealthy. I remember reading that in a book and I said, all right, this is just temporary. This is temporary. Sharpen my skill, get better, focus on social media, master that skill. If that's where you're going to excel at, master that. If you're going to go viral, master how you did it and keep at it and keep going and keep doing it. And so I remember I was sitting in my room, my business partner, Markel, was pretty incredible. And I remember just knowing in my gut that if I was ever going to build a business the second time, that I build it with, not on my own shoulders, not by myself, but I would build it with someone who was strong where I'm weak. Because they don't teach you that in books. They don't even teach you that at most universities. And I remember thinking, man, I got to partner with someone who is strong where I'm weak. Well, I was weak when it came to the internet and web development, and I was learning social. I was getting that down, okay? And I was trying to be relevant, and I was trying to scale, and I was trying to figure out how I could build a brand like the next Joe Blow or Sally Sue that I saw. So I remember calling a friend of mine named Markel. And I remember he's a tech guy. So like, you know, you'll never really see him do this. He never even met people that worked for us for the first 6 months. I think they didn't even talk to him on the phone. So I remember just thinking like, all right, if him and I can build a company together, we can focus on e-com, website, web development, and then I can be the face of it all. So if my brand goes up here, then it elevates the business. So we made a pact that we would do it, okay? And I've known him for 15 years. 15 years later, he's my best friend. Been there for me through thick and thin. Gave me the last dollar out of his pocket when I was broker than broke. And I remember us working every day. He'd go to work, he'd come to my house, and we would sit in my bedroom from 3:45 p.m. to midnight, mastering our craft. Next lesson, master your craft. Once you know what your skill is, master that skill. You're sharpening the skill, but start to master it. Now, you'll never be perfect at mastery of your craft, but you can get to a point where you start to master the craft enough where people know exactly who you are and they come to you because of that. And that's what happened to us. And I remember thinking, how can I monetize my brand? So I ended up doing my own apparel line, calling it Bar Talk and Coffee. And my buddy out of the Bay Area ended up doing all my production for my clothes. And we were sitting in my room and it had a box, and the box had District on it. And I said, at this point, I had already been on CBS the first time. And I said, let's just do a company called District Media Press. Let's see if it's available. So we go on GoDaddy.com and we buy the domain District Media Press. And guess what? It was available. And so what ended up happening was I ended up consulting individuals. And I ended up starting to speak and I ended up elevating everything. And I ended up diving deeper into social because I knew that was not only the present, but it was going to be the future as we're here today living in a virtual world. And so I remember just launching it and I acquired some individual clients, paid me a couple $100 a month for consulting. Then I added a new person, then I added a videographer, then I added a graphic designer, then I added we started building this company. Then we got winery as clients, and we got restaurants as clients, and I'm building this thing up. And I remember thinking, damn, I'm making a couple $100,000, but I'm broke. Next lesson, make sure that you don't scale too big or move too big, because there is such thing saying that you can build too big, too fast, where you fail. And I'm building that business, him and I, for 4 full years. And one day I woke up and I just said, you know what? I got to win big, but I got to win big in a different business model. Next lesson, it's okay to pivot. Pivoting is the only way where you're able to adjust the sails of your wings so that you can fly, okay? So I pivoted. That's what I did. I pivoted. And you fast forward year to date, you know, I speak lots of times a year. I'm building one of the biggest companies called California Bud Co. I actually have built another company that's on track. Like I said, it's worth 6-7 figure right now. It's already the multiple 6 figures in 6 months. And some things that I've learned during this moment in time is that whatever it takes to get you to the point where you want to be is exactly what you have to do to stay where you are at. That was an important lesson for me to understand, because it doesn't matter how big you get, How you got there is how you stay there. In fact, how you elevate from that point is how you get there. And so that was another lesson for me, was stay focused on the small things, the little things every day that you can do every single day, the mundane things that count every single day that take you to where you want to go. That's how you scale in a virtual world. That's how you stand out in a virtual world. And through that, I know the law of manifestation. So law of manifestation for me is very interesting, because I know that when one door opens, as long as I continue to do the little things every day in a great way, then what's going to happen is that the next door is going to open. I remember 18 months ago, I remember getting an email from Facebook. And many of you students may or may not be on Facebook because you guys are younger than me. But to me, this was a big deal. I had been on Facebook for over a decade, building a brand that was making me money. And listen, like, that's how I make money. I make money from my brand. As long as my brand's out there, any other company behind it's going to win. As long as I know how to succeed and scale it, they're all going to win. So I ended up getting an email from Facebook, and I thought it was a scam email, and it wasn't. And they said, hey, we chose you and your brand to be one of the faces of our official creator. We're going to make you a creator and a partner with us. We're going to take you to the next level. Then they ended up running ads against my page. It took me from 17,000 people all the way to 77,000 in 30 days. Talk about, whoa. I sat back and said, how everything I've done to get to this point has been worth it. Next lesson. Lots of pain is going to get you to the promised land. It's going to go pain, 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 small win, pain, pain, small win, pain, pain, small win. But those pains are the lessons you need. So that way, when you elevate your life, you're able to keep that elevation. Because I'll tell you one thing, you move too big too fast, you will lose. The person that you have to be on the inside to understand how to manifest higher, to get you there and to stay there, guys, it's next level. And it's not the successes that get you there. It's the failures and the pains that get you there, because those are the many lessons that you need to take care of the next problem. Because let me tell you something, every level, new devil, every level, new devil. So we talk about scaling and achieving and success, and then in a pandemic and living in a virtual world, and how do we just stand out? It's all those things in compilation into one, which is you, and you doing everything you can to control your environment. And if you can't control your environment, you can control what you do. We all cannot control right now a pandemic, but what we can control is what we're doing every day to stand out and build a life that we want and a career that we want in a virtual world. You know, my companies are always hiring. So if you're standing out in a virtual world and DMing and reaching out and doing all you can to get that internship or get that job, at some point it's gonna happen. It's gonna land in your lap and you're gonna win. Facts. So I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna show you this video, guys, because I want you to see it. This is my show on Facebook called Hustle Season. All right, guys, so that's it. But I want to keep talking about this. So let's talk about this now. Get out of here, guys. I'm gonna stop the screen share. All right. Now I'm gonna talk to you about how you stay relevant in a virtual world. I'm gonna give you guys some little nuggets. I call them wisdom mode nuggets. The first thing is, I ask and I beg, because this is really important. This has been a milestone in my career to figure this out, is to really take the time to slow down, to speed up. And how do you do that? Map out exactly what you want. Take the time and sit down and write out your goals. Write out your life in 5 years as if you're living your life in 5 years. That may sound like it's not really relevant, but let me tell you something about the universe. The universe will give you exactly what you want if you demand it. And you have to make the vision very plain and very clear. And one of the things that helped me out was writing my vision statement, which was 5 pages long, as if it was me living a day in the life 5 years ago, 5 years from now. So I did mine 5 years ago, but you can do this now. Take the time to map out your goals. That's how you stay relevant in the virtual world, because you'll be able to know, okay, now we're living in this kind of world. My goals may change a little bit. I'm going to pivot a little bit, but here's how I can stay relevant directly connected to the vision that I have for myself and my goals. And the second thing that I would do is I'd write that 5-year plan. I'd write the day in your life 5 years from today. I am on the beach in the sandy area of Monterey, overlooking the ocean with my niece next to me. I mean, that's how specific I got. That's how specific I got. Now I can go to Monterey and stay there for weeks and not come home at the fanciest hotels. But 5 years ago, if I didn't see that, I don't think I'd have it today. Now, that's important because that's how you're able to stay relevant. Because what ends up happening with us is that we live in this world where it's all social, it's all fast-paced. You can get lost in translation of what you want. Naysayers, people all around. So in order to stay relevant, you have to know what you want. You have to know what you want to manifest. And that's the only way, in my opinion, that you can stay relevant. So let's talk about the era of opportunity. You guys, when there is massive opposition, there is incredible opportunity. And if we haven't seen massive challenges in 2020, I don't know what we've all seen, but I know one thing is certain, that I have personally seen a tremendous amount of growth, not only within myself, because it's forced all of us to do some checkup from the neck up, right? When you're isolated and you're quarantined and you have yourself and you're with yourself, you have to look at yourself and figure out, all right, what's going on with me? At least for me, I got to know myself better. That's just for me. And but what I've seen, even in professionally in business, is that I've actually generated more revenue in 2020 than I have in a really long time. Now that's not, maybe it's a business model that I have, maybe A, B, C, D, but I know one thing is certain. It's because when we live in an era of opposition, which has been 2020, there is massive, massive room for growth. In fact, the rich become more wealthy during times like this. And I don't say that because I endorse anything, but I'm saying that there's so much opportunity for all of us to win, that if we just shift that focus from, hey, 2020 has been crap, and shift it from, hey, it's been crap, to, oh my goodness, I'm going to get the career of my dreams, and I'm going to build the business of my dreams, because now I have the time to do it, and the resources and the internet, and thank God for technology right now, because this wouldn't be a reality for us. When you think about all those wonderful things, then you shift that focus and you start to live in the moment, in the era of your own opportunity, not mine, your own. And so now I want to talk to you about branding. Branding is the name of the game. And I'll tell you one thing, before we hire people, I go to their Instagram, I go to their Facebook, I go there to see, or I go to their YouTube channel. I only do all of those things, not to watch them, but to see if, okay, this is their resume. This is their skill set. Is their skill set being shown to me on these platforms? Because I never had a resume. My resume was always social media. Forbes never asked me for my resume. Entrepreneur Magazine never asked me for a resume. Asked me for my background, my story. But see, my background and story was verified from my social media handles. So when it comes to branding, I believe that you should let your light shine to the point where everyone can see it on social. And that's what we look at. That's what we look at. We look at that because we think that's very important. And so I believe that right now, branding is what's going to get anybody to where they want to go, because right now we can't do anything high touch. It's all high tech. And when you are limited with the resources from a high touch standpoint, that's face-to-face, person to person, you have to do the best you can to stand out on the internet with your own brand, if you choose to have one, or just your knowledge and your resources. If you are knowledgeable on makeup or hair or engineering or whatever it may be, showcase that information. So that way the next person who you go apply for that position will see it and go, you know what, they're the one I'm looking for. You're always being sought after by someone, but you have to stand out so they can see you. Now, when I say stand out, I'm not talking about 1 million followers. No, I'm talking about, I've hired people that have 2 followers, but their 2 post is on point. So I just really do, sorry, my phone's ringing. I just really do encourage you guys to focus on how you can control your own destiny right now. We're living in an era that obviously is unconventional, but I know that it's lucrative and I know there's massive opportunity. So how do you take care of your brand from a virtual standpoint, implement everything that I've said. And this was a lot of information because I like to give a lot. And I'm glad that I'm doing this, but my whole thing is to get you guys inspired to take massive action on exactly what you want in 2020 and leave this last quarter all on the line because you have the power and ability to get exactly what you want. And I believe that everybody can manifest what they want. Everybody can. It takes time, effort, and all the lessons and steps I just shared with you throughout this whole session to get to where I believe you can be, because I'm only speaking on personal experience and all the 700 books I've now read over the last 16 years that I've been in business. So with that being said, you guys, I appreciate you having me. You can find me on Instagram, / my profile is Tiana, the letter N as Nicole. So Tiana N Burse, and Facebook, Tiana Nicole Burse. Tiana spelt like princess on the Disney Channel. We did 32 years for that. Glad that happened. But I appreciate you guys. Feel free to DM me, message me. You can even email me, Tiana@districtmediapress.com. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Dr. Watson, and I hope to see all you guys soon.